Welcome back to the Draft Hub, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we are going to be going through my picks for week 11, if you could believe that, of the college football season. Last week was no bueno for us, folks. 33 and 19 to bring us to a total record of 455 and 145 on the season. Only 310 games over 500. Yeah, pretty cool record, I'd say. But yeah, last week was easily our worst, only being 14 games over 500. Started off pretty good. The last couple weeks have started off pretty good, being pretty dang accurate on the weekday games. And then, it all falls to shit on Big Noon Saturday. But before we get into this video today, before we get into my week 11 picks, please, if you are watching this right now and you aren't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and like this video. We are closing in on 700 subscribers, and I would love to get to 1,000 by the end of 2025. And with your help, that is certainly possible, and you won't regret it. There's a lot of content on this channel every single day. You will not be bored of this channel, that is certain. I upload every single day. I have since the start of the 2025 NFL season, and I don't plan on stopping until after the NFL draft. So we're going to keep on rolling as we do. Like we're going to keep on rolling through these predictions. And if Tuesday isn't the epitome of, nah, man, I got plans when I go home type of football, it's this. It's embarrassing. You don't want to go home and tell your boys that you're going to watch UMass versus Akron. But that's exactly what this guy is going to do when he goes home. UMass is a team that I think is going to get blown out by Akron. They'd probably get blown out by Kent State too, and they'd probably get blown out by Charlotte. These are the four teams in the FBS that I just think are the saddest programs in the FBS. And yeah, UMass sucks. Give me Akron over UMass in that one. And a little bit more action on a Tuesday here. We got Miami of Ohio taking on Ohio. So give me Miami of Ohio in this one, actually, over Ohio. I don't know. Ohio, to me, so far this year has been a little bit disappointing. And Miami of Ohio still has one of the best, if not the best, defenses in the MAC. So, yes, I know being away from home is different, but I think the Redhawks will certainly get it done in that one. Moving on to Wednesday, you have Kent State taking on Ball State. And as much as I'd love to take Kent State here, I need a win. And I don't think Ball State is going to lose to Kent State in this one. I just don't. I mean, maybe has Akron and Kent State played yet this year? I don't know if they have, but that's a game that is my Super Bowl. That's definitely a game that I'm looking forward to if that hasn't happened yet. I don't remember. Obviously, I predict every single one of these games. It is a lot. Oh, you know what I just realized? I didn't put I just dropped my phone on my keyboard if you couldn't tell. I forgot to predict the Thursday ones too. So we'll be doing that live. Obviously, I go through the week and I predict the games and then I tell you guys. But yes, I'm going to go with Ball State there. I'm also going with Toledo over Northern Illinois. So I have to fit these in at some point. I have to remember to write them down. But I'm going to go with App State over Georgia Southern in this one. And then I'm going to go with South Florida quite easily over UTSA, even though UTSA is coming off of a very, very nice victory over Tulane in their own right. But I do think South Florida is a different beast than Tulane at this point in the season. Moving on to the Friday matchups here. Not really a great weekday football slate this week, in my opinion. But Friday, we have Houston, who is just fresh off of a loss to West Virginia to get knocked out of the top 25 after this is a continuing trend. I don't know if you guys have realized this, that we've seen throughout this year where teams finally make it to the top 25 and then instantly get knocked out as soon as they make it to the top 25. Houston is no different. They're taking on UCF. UCF is favored in this one. Give me Houston over them. I think Connor Wegman and company are kind of, fiending to get back up to that top 25 status, and this would be a nice victory for them. Northwestern taking on USC. Give me USC over Northwestern in this one pretty easily there. I just think USC's defense is kind of going to shut down Northwestern's offense that's a little bit lackluster. Memphis taking on Tulane. Give me Memphis. This is a battle of very, very high-powered American Athletic Conference heavyweights. But give me Memphis, especially after Tulane had a pretty devastating loss this past weekend. I think Memphis got their one bad loss out of their system, and they're just going to roll all the way to the AAC championship game this year. So give me Memphis over Tulane in that one. Now we're heading over to big noon Saturday, and who gets it worse in back-to-back weeks than Penn State? They played Ohio State last week. Now they're playing Indiana this week. It's going to be a massacre. Give me Indiana over Penn State. I don't care where they're playing. They could be playing in the middle of the ocean on an oil rig for I care. Give me Indiana over Penn State in that one. Georgia taking on Mississippi State, another team coming off of a very, very impressive victory and isn't nearly as bad as people would have you believe. But give me Georgia over Mississippi State in this one. A battle of top 10 teams here in BYU and Texas Tech, but give me Texas Tech in this one. As long as Behren Morton is healthy, I do think he is the one of the best, if not the best, quarterbacks in the Big 12. And as long as he could stay healthy for like a whole game this year against this team, I think that would be it. So Texas Tech, BYU is one of the last undefeated teams in the FBS, but yeah, give me Texas Tech over BYU in this one. SMU taking on Boston College. SMU shocking Miami this past weekend in overtime. So give me SMU over Boston College here. You got Colorado and West Virginia. West Virginia coming off of a very nice victory here. Give me West Virginia over Colorado. Just a complete failure of a season for Deion Sanders. And really, it's not his fault. I mean, what could he have done? He lost so much talent from last year to this year. So really just a nightmare transitional season for Colorado goes down even worse. So give me West Virginia over Colorado. James Madison taking on Marshall. Give me JMU in this one, another team that is just rolling right to their conference championship game. Southern Miss taking on Arkansas State, another team that is surprisingly towards the top of their conference in Southern Miss. Give me Southern Miss over Arkansas State there. Temple taking on Army. Army coming off of a very nice victory over Air Force in a get right game for them. I think they're going to hopefully win out the rest of the season. Well, they probably won't beat Navy, but they'll win out until Army Navy week, and they'll wind up salvaging a decent enough season. A little bit of a letdown considering that they won the AAC last year in their debut season, so a little bit disappointing. But be that as it may, Ohio State taking on Purdue. Ohio State is not only the best defense in the country, possibly the best college football defense I've seen in my lifetime. And I really mean that. I mean, I was too young for the Miami Hurricanes, but, technically I was alive, but I wasn't old enough to watch football at that time. But yeah, this defense is unbelievable in every facet of the game. Give me Ohio State. Ohio State can score a touchdown in this game, and I'm convinced that they would win 7-0. Or 7-3 or something like that. The Citadel taking on Ole Miss. Give me the Citadel quite easily in this one over Ole Miss. No, I'm kidding. That's a crazy game to happen at week 11 of the college football season. Who allowed this? The Citadel traveling to Ole Miss? That is just how much did they pay the Citadel to come here and get their asses kicked? That's unbelievable. They don't even have a line up there. I can't even imagine what it's going to be. Ole Miss over the Citadel easily. Liberty taking on apparently my favorite FBS team in Missouri State, but give me Liberty over Missouri State in this one. Just a well-oiled machine for Conference USA is Liberty. And you have Bowling Green taking on Eastern Michigan. Give me Eastern Michigan over Bowling Green. Rice taking on UAB, a scintillating matchup here between two heavyweights of the dog shittery. But Rice actually isn't nearly as bad as they have been in like the last decade or so. UAB as well, but I think it's going to be a close one here. But give me Rice over UAB. I don't know. The Blazers just, whatever. Give me the Owls over the Blazers in that one. Rutgers taking on Maryland. I feel like this is going to be a very, very exciting matchup. You have Maryland, who has standout true freshman Malik Washington taking on Ethan Kaliakmanis, Ian Strong, DT Sheffield, KJ Duff, and the Rutgers whole offense here. Give me Rutgers over Maryland in this one. I just think I think Malik Washington has kind of come crashing down to earth. He's still having a very, very awesome season so far, but yeah, give me Rutgers in this one. A much needed win for Rutgers here. In this one, I'm going to take Rutgers over Maryland. Louisiana Tech traveling to Delaware. Give me Delaware over Louisiana Tech in this one. Another team that I just can't seem to stop picking week in and week out. but I feel like they match up very well against the LT Bulldogs here. So give me Delaware in this one. Florida International taking on Middle Tennessee. How is Middle Tennessee State favored in this one? I'm sure I'll eat my words and they'll wind up blowing out Florida International, but give me FIU in this one. Jacksonville State taking on UTEP. Give me Jacksonville State in that one as well. Eastern Carolina hosting Charlotte. Again, one of the saddest teams in college football is the Charlotte 49ers. Give me East Carolina over Charlotte. Tulsa taking on Florida Atlantic. Give me Florida Atlantic in this one as well. Texas A&M taking on Missouri, a very, very strong battle away from home. Missouri coming off of a couple pretty big time, and big time, I mean, not by blowouts. I mean, big time meaning tough opponents, losses over the last few weeks. Give me Texas A&M. They continue to roll. I really don't. I mean, with the teams that they've beaten so far, I really don't see them losing at any point this season. They just look like such a well-oiled machine on offense. You have Marcel Reed playing great ball. You have Mario Craver and Casey Concepcion playing awesome. The backfield trio, including Le'Veon Moss, has been fantastic on the defensive side. Will Lee, Tyree New York, Scooby Williams, Cassius Howell, all these players have been just so impactful this year for the Aggies. Give me the Aggies over Bo Prabula and the Missouri Tigers. Oregon taking on Iowa here. I think it's going to be a closer game than anticipated. Iowa actually can score, and they still can play defense. They'll always be able to play defense, but Oregon is another team that after the loss to Indiana and then playing Wisconsin, they didn't really have the most convincing victory against Wisconsin. Just 21-7. If you remember a couple weeks ago, they were on a bye this past week. But yes, the 6.5 point line I think is pretty valid. I think it'll be like a 10-point win for Oregon or something like that. I don't think it's going to be too crazy. Miami taking on Syracuse. Syracuse just lost to UNC, so that means that they're going to get blown out by Miami. Give me Miami in this one, especially after being embarrassed by ACC foes, SMU. Miami is out for blood at this point. Duke taking on UConn. Darian Mensah is having quietly one of the best seasons of any quarterback in college football this year. So give me the Duke, give me the Blue Devils over the Huskies in this one. This would be a phenomenal matchup in college basketball for the first, couple weeks of college basketball, but unfortunately we are just getting it on the football field. Arizona hosting Kansas in this one. Give me Kansas in this one. Arizona and Kansas kind of sort of evenly matched in my opinion, but I think I'm going to give the slight nod to Kansas over Arizona in this one. Iowa State taking on TCU. Give me the Horned Frogs in this one. I don't know what happened to Iowa State, but starting off very impressive this season and kind of really crashing down to earth over the last 4 or 5 weeks for the Cyclones here. And Matt Campbell, give me TCU and Sonny Dykes over Matt Campbell and the Cyclones in this one. Josh Hoover is also one of the more underrated quarterbacks for the 2026 NFL draft class. Vandy coming off of a loss to Texas, taking on Auburn here. Auburn coming off of a loss in their own right, where they only scored 3 points. Give me Vanderbilt over Auburn in this one. A massive failure of a season it has been for Auburn, in my opinion. Kennesaw State, leading the conference. Kennesaw State, mind you, taking on New Mexico State. Give me Kennesaw State in this one. I fully expect them to keep riding this momentum and keep playing some great football. Coastal Carolina, also at the top of the conference as well. Taking on Georgia State, the Panthers, really disappointing season, considering how much they spent or how much they got through the transfer portal. Really kind of a disappointing season for the Panthers. Give me the Chanticleers here in this one for Coastal Carolina. Washington taking on Wisconsin. Give me the Huskies in this one. Wisconsin's kind of at the bottom of the barrel of the Big Ten here, and I don't really think it's going to get any better anytime soon. Unk University taking on Stanford and UNC coming off of a pretty good victory over Syracuse here. I don't really think a lot of people thought it was going to be as one-sided of a victory as it was for Bill Belichick and UNC, but maybe they'll roll this into a little bit more momentum. So give me UNC over Stanford in this one. Louisiana taking on Texas State. Give me the Texas State Bobcats in this one over the Raging Cajuns, just by a slight margin. San Jose State hosting Air Force here, and Air Force is just a team that I really can't kind of gauge what kind of season they're having, even though we're towards the back end of the season. But give me the San Jose State Spartans in this one. They did get a nice victory this past weekend as well. Wake Forest taking on number 12, Virginia. 12. I have never in my life seen Virginia ranked this high, but I fully expect them to keep the buck on going against Wake Forest, especially after I picked Wake Forest to beat Florida State and they lost like 42-7. So get the hell out of here, Demon Deacons. I'm picking the Cavaliers in this one. Louisville, Miller Moss, Isaac Brown, and Chris Bell taking on Cal Golden Bears here in this one. Give me the Cardinals in this one over the Golden Bears. Florida State taking on Clemson, the battle of the ultimate mid in the ACC. Give me the Clemson Tigers over Florida State. I don't think there's going to be a stitch of defense played in that game between these two foes. Alabama and LSU. Give me Alabama. LSU coming up freshly off of firing Brian Kelly, who is one of the biggest piece of garbage human beings that we've seen in college football. There is no love lost there for really any college football fan. And Brian Kelly losing his job, I don't know where he'll end up. He'll probably end up at like Virginia Tech or something like that, rebuild his collegiate career just a bit, and then probably get some kind of high profile job in the next like 3 to 5 years, and then shit his pants again on national TV time and time again. But give me the Alabama Crimson Tide and Ty Simpson in this one. Navy taking on Notre Dame. And it's tough for Navy coming off of a loss to North Texas. Looks like they're going to lose again. Notre Dame might be the worst top 10 team in the top 10. Maybe hence why they are number 10. But give me the Fighting Irish in this one over Navy. Florida taking on Kentucky. Kentucky coming off of a nice 10-3 victory over Auburn. And, Florida kind of has to get back on track. I think this is one of their easier games of the year. So give me Florida traveling to Kroger Field here and beating the Kentucky Wildcats. Nevada taking on Utah State. Give me the Aggies in this one again. Another team that I think that the offense took a few weeks to kind of get going, but once it got going, it really hasn't stopped. And Nevada isn't really, much of anything. So give me Utah State over Nevada. Nebraska taking on UCLA. Tough blow for Nebraska as they did lose Dylan Raiola for the rest of the season. Give me UCLA in this one. Really playing some great football over the past, month or 5 weeks or so, ever since they beat Penn State. UCLA has been playing a really nice brand of football. UNLV coming off of back-to-back losses to New Mexico and Boise State. Give me UNLV over Colorado State. Again, just another team that I just can't gauge week in and week out. They'll probably wind up blowing out UNLV because that's just the type of season that they're having. Sam Houston State and Oregon State is one of the worst matchups of the week by far. And I think Sam Houston State is doomed to an 0-12 season, to be quite honest with you. Give me the Oregon State Beavers in this one, coming off of a sweet 10-7 victory in their own right over Washington State. So they got a little bit of momentum going. And then finally, you have San Diego State taking on Hawaii. I do think with a victory here, San Diego State should probably move into the back end of the top 25, especially with the defense that they do possess. And I think that they will have an easy victory here over the Rainbow Warriors. That defense between Trey White, and Chris Johnson, they've been some unbelievable defensive prospects this year for the Aztecs. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There are my picks for week 11 of the college football season. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I see you in the next one.